Hello, I'm Meganova, and this is my series Pillow Talk, where I talk about a TV show, a movie, or whatever I have recently finished, and just give my thoughts on it. So, I just finished watching Thor Ragnarok, finally, because sadly I missed it in the theaters, because the friend that I usually go to watch these movies with, we just couldn't really find a proper date for it because he had some let's just say family issues that are still not quite resolved at this point, but that's completely besides the point. Never got to watch it at the cinema, same as earlier with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Didn't get around to it for various reasons, but now I've finally watched it, and before it I had actually watched Brad Jones, the cinema snob. He does those midnight screenings. I'd watched his video on it, and the way they described it seemed a bit different to what I seemed to get out of it. They were like, "Oh, it's extremely jokey." While yes, it wasn't as jokey as they made it out to be, I felt like it was still able to hold a serious tone when it needed to. I mean, sure, it could have been better at it, but you know. Also, of course, spoiler warning, I'm going to be spoiling the shit out of this movie, so if you haven't watched it yet and don't want to have it spoiled, then probably don't watch this, but I'd say, I would say that I will recommend it. I mean, if you're a Marvel fan, or in general just a fan of the MCU or whatever, you have probably already watched it, and you're maybe just here just to hear my opinion, just to have your own validated, or to disagree with me and argue with me in the comments. And yes, I do actually look at the comments, and I mean, I don't get a lot of comments, so it's not hard to look at them all, but I do my best. So, um, this is about the whole Ragnarok thing. That is the thing from Norse mythology where all the gods die and the whole realm of the gods get fucked up. But in the original, or whatever you want to call it, back in the original mythology version, from what I remember, it is something like that they all die, but then it kind of all just starts over. They all get reborn, and then Ragnarok happens again 1,000 years later, or something like that. At least that's how I had it explained to me at one point. I don't remember 100%, but roughly around that. And I guess it's kinda sorta the same, except here they actually die and can't get back up. So what they end up doing is just, oh, we should just round up everyone and escape in a spaceship. Yeah. Because Thor somehow ends up on this, like, backwater trash planet thing. We never really get explained what this planet is. All we know is that the Grand Master is here, who's played by Jeff Goldblum, and he is hilarious in this movie. Usually I'm a bit iffy on his, like, type characters, but he didn't do it too badly here, so it was bearable. And yeah, he was pretty funny, even for a semi-villain. I wouldn't necessarily. I mean, yes, he is a dick, but I wouldn't necessarily call him a villain as such. Like he's he's chaotic neutral, I'd say. Like, he's not the type to go out and conquer things and kill people randomly. Like, they have to have done something. Or maybe I say lawful evil, I'm not sure. One of the two. Oh, no, chaotic neutral seems, we are not here to discuss, D&D terminology. Okay, so. But, yeah, Thor ends up here and he ends up fighting with Hulk. And am I the only one who thought Hulk sounded like... Whenever Hulk is just regularly talking, not screaming, it kind of sounds like he's auto-tuned. And that was just so weird. Like, that seemed really odd. Sounded like he was auto-tuned, and I just couldn't get past that. That seemed so odd. I don't know it's because... Like, I know they do some voice manipulating on Mark Ruffalo's voice when he does the Hulk voice. And I guess that's just how it sounds when he tries to speak like a normal person. Also, I will say I'm pretty sad that because of the whole copyright debacle with Universal Studios, I think it is, that Marvel isn't allowed to make a proper Hulk movie, so that they had to squeeze a fucking Planet Hulk into this. So we got like a third of a Planet Hulk movie, I guess, with Thor there, because that's the best way they found to do it. So, and I mean, for what we got, it wasn't bad, but it's still one of those things where I am just so tired of copyright laws and how it's fucking over good entertainment. Like I like capitalism, but sometimes I'm not necessarily a big fan, but this is like, I'm not going to be discussing politics here. That's maybe in another video at another point if I start doing rant videos about political stuff, but I'm not sure I'm quite ready to get into that ever, but, you know, we'll see, maybe. But yeah, so and also Anthony Hopkins, he felt like he was sleepwalking through this movie. Like he seemed like he just really did not want to be here. Like his voice, his lines, he just delivered them very rushed, and it just seemed like they just flew him in. Oh yeah, hey, by the way, you gotta do a few scenes as Odin. Oh yeah, okay, but I'm actually busy doing something else, so can we make it a bit quick? Oh yeah, sure. It's like they just flew him in and shot all his scenes in one day, and they just wanted to get them out of the way quickly, because he just sounds rushed. He doesn't sound invested in anything in this. And it kind of ruined a couple scenes for me that had to be like deep and emotional and shit like that. And just kind of ruined it when he was just like, yeah, no, yeah, that and that. Yes, yeah, bye. Just what? Just that's... Wasn't a big fan of that, I gotta admit. That definitely took quite a bit away from the movie. Which, I mean, overall, I did enjoy it. I would probably say overall this is the best Thor movie. I know that's not saying a lot considering the first two weren't super amazing. Uh, I mean, in in fucking Dark World, I tend to forget who the main villain was. Like, I know he was a dark elf, but I can never remember his name because he was such a nothing character. Like, there was nothing to him. I mean, in the first Thor movie, it was Loki. Like, okay, he's memorable. And then you also see him in the first Avengers movie, where he's even better. And then you see him again. I mean, he's always there when Thor is there, obviously. And then you get to Dark World, and it's just like, what? It's just a nothing. I can't even remember what his motivation was. The villain in Dark World, like, I barely remember anything. It was just bleh. No, I did like the brother dynamic in Dark World. Like, some of the arguments they had, you could they really felt like they were legit brothers. The way they were talking to each other. I thought that was pretty cool. That was one of the few, like, good parts about that movie. Although I will still hold on to saying the MCU has no outright bad movies. I mean, some of them are less good than others, and I have objections about certain things in some of them. Like, I'm still not quite over how Iron Man 3 treated the Mandarin. Like, I know they came out with that short later on that's like, oh, the real Mandarin is out there and shit, but considering it's not looking like we're getting any new Iron Man movies in the near future or anything, and who knows, he might die in Infinity War, I don't know yet. So it seems like we might actually never get to see a proper representation of the Mandarin in the MCU. And I really like the Mandarin. I watched a lot of the Iron Man Armored Adventures, the one where he's a teenager. And the Mandarin was the main villain there, and he was really cool there. And yeah, I'm just not a fan of how they treated him here. Like, I know, of course, yeah, he was just an actor and they were using the Mandarin's name, and it's not the real Mandarin, but I just really want to see a proper representation of the Mandarin in the MCU. Is that so much to ask? Please? But, yeah. Oh, yeah, this suddenly turned into fucking Iron Man. Okay. So, but yeah, this movie, like, overall, I felt it was pretty funny. It had a lot more personality than the other Thor movies. Like, I still overall like the first Thor movie. It had its ups and downs, but overall, I thought it was still fairly good. Second one, a bit less so, and then this one I thought was pretty good. Like, not super amazing, not like, whoa, not Homecoming levels of just, this is just the character. But then I guess Thor was always like one of those B-tier characters, like, they never really got in the spotlight a whole lot. Like, yeah, he was fairly well known, but he was never, like, a super popular property, as far as I know. I mean, every character that has been in any of the MCU movies suddenly turned into super popular characters because, well, the movies are extremely popular, so of course people are gonna love them. Or, well, it's partly because people love the characters in the movies that the yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm just getting completely sidetracked right now. I don't even remember where the hell I was. Or where am I? I don't know. Okay. But yeah. Um Oh, I also wanted to mention, when you see Hela fight earlier. Oh, actually, before that, I one thing I noticed that I thought was kind of weird. Whenever Hela was just talking, she would always have like her hair out in the open, and it was just she would just look normal as such. But whenever she had to go into a fight, she would always get her like big headdress on, and I is her headdress like the source of her power to fight, or is it just because she doesn't want her hair to flail about while she's fighting, or what is up with her having to always put that on? Like it just seemed weird. I just don't really see the point. Like, why did she always have to put on to put on her big headdress whenever she had to fight someone? It it just seemed kind of weird. But also, when she was fighting, when she was in that first big fight scene where she was fighting all of the Asgardian soldiers, um, her fighting technique kind of reminded me of Bayonetta. Which is certainly not a bad thing. I fucking love Bayonetta, and I love her way of fighting. It looks really cool. It just really reminded me of Bayonetta, and I'm not sure if maybe the fight choreographer likes Bayonetta and therefore put in her way of fighting into it. Sorry, I'm just fucking about with my in WoW here because I gotta get back to in case the Mad Merchant spawns because I want to buy them out. That's something completely different. Okay. So, yeah. I mean, overall, I really liked this movie. It was funny in the right places, I felt. And it was serious when it had to be. So, yeah. Overall, I enjoyed it. Tell me your thoughts about the movie in the comments if you feel like it. And you can find me on all my social media stuff down in the description on my Twitter, Patreon, Facebook, and my Discord. If you want to try and talk directly to me, I frequently check my Discord for messages. So yeah, please join there and let's get some things going in there. And yeah, I am now gonna start watching Agent Carter because that is the furthest back of the TV series that I haven't watched yet in like chronological order. So yeah, I will see you out on the high seas. Yeah.